There once was a boat that went to sea to catch some fish for a very nice tea. The boat hit storms and the wind did howl and the crew were washed right out. Where did the Evers man go with J. Bass, Cush and Mike in tow? 1 minute they were rowing their boat and the next thing they're whacked out. They floated for a week or more, then washed up on unfamiliar shores. A TV crew with a plan in store said live in 3, 2, 1, go! Hooray, the Evers man comes, washed up for a weekend with his chums. Food, trials and barrels of fun in a live-streamed weekend show. Hooray, the Evers man comes with his band of brothers and a splintered bum. Food, trials and barrels of fun in a live-streamed weekend show.
Evers.
Today, we're sharing 4 of your top TikTok food trends with a chef and a normal home cook. They're going to put them to the test and see if they're actually any good.
You're just gonna place your ramen bricks down into your greased 9x13 casserole. We're only gonna use half of the flavor packets. For this case, I'm using chicken, but you can use beef, whatever one you want.
Any red flags so far?
They just need hydrating. I see the tomato sauce and I'm thinking...
32 ounces of your favorite marinara sauce, a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream. You're just gonna pour it.
I mean, that's not quite bechamel, but... Where's the bay leaf?
We're gonna spread about...
Here comes the cheese.
Just spread it over everything here. Mozzarella cheese. So we're gonna use 2 cups of mozzarella cheese over this whole thing. We're gonna add some pepperoni.
This is what happens when we let Mr. TikTok send us the trends, because he's standing over there saying, this is one of the good ones.
I know. He's excited for this.
We're gonna add some more cheese. We're gonna go with
enough cream, cheese, and cheese. This is 4 cheese now.
Italian seasoning for that extra flavor.
Yeah, get it Italian.
Italian seasoning, traditional.
We cooked this for about 50 minutes.
It looks nice.
Turned out delicious ramen lasagna.
He even looks like Jamie.
You gotta try this.
I mean, he's definitely tapped into SEO-heavy cuisines and food styles.
Would you like to give it a go and see if it's any good?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Now, only half. The video looked like he used half a sachet.
Should we sachet away?
Yeah. Wow, we're using Bon Jovi's.
Bon Jovi's family tomato sauce.
Which is really good.
This bit bothered me slightly, but again, we do need more liquid in this. A splash of red wine probably wouldn't go amiss, but...
Heavy cream or double cream,
as we would
call
it, so sort of 40% fat, but that means that 60% is liquid. Then ricotta.
Anyone trying to do something interesting with food, I think, fair play. But there is a line.
I've been more angered by more things we've done.
Yeah.
I actually am almost excited for this.
We've made a cacio e pepe before, using noodles instead of pasta, haven't we?
Yeah. In Can't Be Arsed, and we've done 3 of those cookbooks, we do lots of cheats that get you close to the end product with a lot of simplistic cheats and knowing when and where you can cheat. In my head right now, I think the noodles is a place that you could cheat and end up with something similar, but I would say it's more of a pasta bake than it is a lasagna.
Yeah.
More like a spaghetti al forno.
Yes. I think if we call this pasta bake, but with ramen, I'm kind of on board with it.
Yeah,
it's not a lasagna.
Well, let's whack it into the oven and then we'll give it a taste and see what we think.
We have a bake.
Here's a thing that as a kid, sometimes I would make pizza on a slice of toast.
Yes,
oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Like,
he still does it. You've moved on.
Tomato paste, cheese, a couple of slices of pepperoni, and then most importantly, dried oregano. That's the waft I'm getting off this. Very, very, very average Italian smells.
Oh, less of a cheese pull, more of a ramen pull.
Okay.
Well, all the noodles are cooked through. We didn't give this the full time at the full temperature they suggested. I think that might have actually dried it out.
Yeah. We did about 20, 25 minutes.
This is a sorted recipe of a decade ago. This is the kind of thing that when we were talking to students primarily, and we still do a lot, this is an absolute staple. I'm excited for it.
It tastes exactly how you'd expect. It's really good.
It's really good. It's clever in the fact that it is so simple.
It's not a lasagna. It's instant ramen.
Pasta bake.
It's a pasta bake. And as a pasta bake, it's very tasty. But we've done that same thing where we've merged words to try and communicate what this is and make it stand out on the internet. We've also done that too. So again, Don't be a hypocrite.
All I can say is, Jay and the team, I hope you're also as excited as we are because it's your lunch too.
The big question, the ramen lasagna. Are you going to follow fast or are you just going to scroll past?
I've been on a journey of self-awareness and therefore I'm going to follow fast.
100% I'm following fast, and not only because I presume he is related to Jay.
Well, that's a great start. Let's get on to the next one. All right, on to number 2.
Okay.
Yes,
got Ben.
yes, we're back.
Ben's
we're
back.
The preview has 2 wine glasses in it, so excited.
Okay.
However, I just know this is going to anger me because it's not going to be the way that I would like to consume wine.
Okay, let's have a look.
Oh, I'm on board with this.
Whisking wine.
Aerating wine.
Yeah, but that's like a milk frother.
I mean, it's a little excessive.
Frothing wine. Jamie, what is happening?
Science is happening, Michael. This is the trend of hyper decanting. So we previously talked about decanting wine. It allows the wine to breathe, to open up. It's been stored in a bottle maybe for years and it just needs to...
By decanting you mean pouring it,
Yeah.
which is step 1 to drinking it, right?
Not the way Evers does it. Whereas this is, shall we say, a slightly harsher approach to getting air into your wine by using a milk frother. Now, Evers, you've been drinking a lot of wine in the last few years. You've been learning a lot about wine. Where do you sit on the idea and the concept of hyper decanting?
I echo everything you said about the importance of decanting some wines before drinking. Hyper decanting, it's like hyper chilling. We've done wine coolers that chill bottles really quickly. It gets you there quicker in often a less glamorous and less romantic way. There is a limit to where it can become too much.
Oh, I don't know. This feels pretty romantic to me, baby.
So this was a process introduced by Modern Cuisine's Nathan Mervold and refers to the process of oxygenating wine with a blender or a frother or a whisk for 30 to 60 seconds. So, how are we going to put this to the test? In the most scientific way that we possibly can. We have 2 different Australian Shiraz wines.
Okay.
At different price points, a cheap one and an expensive one. We poured both of them an hour ago into your middle glasses. What we'd like to test is pouring it straight from the bottle, having it breathed for an hour, and then doing the froth.
Great.
Okay.
Cheers. High acid, nice but fruity, like jammy fruit, some black pepper spice.
Mike, what were your tasting notes?
Yeah, those.
Right.
It tastes quite acidic to me. I'm interested to see the one that's just the same wine but having breathed for an hour.
Are we going to go breathing
Yeah.
or are we going to go to the other wine? Which would you prefer?
I'd like to compare the difference between that and that, being
Okay.
knowing they're the same wine.
Yep.
Oh, there's a big difference there.
Is there?
It just mellowed out.
Yeah, it feels far more mellow and balanced and smooth now.
So when we talk about acidity, it's literally it makes your mouth water.
Yeah.
If you take a sip, swallow it, and literally lean over, it's like, if you're not careful, you will dribble because it's really high acid, and that's what your mouth does. However, you still have the acidity, but you don't have, I would say, that sort of abrasive,
Yeah.
raw harshness in it. What you do get instead, even after just an hour, is more fruit.
Right, pour it out and whisk it up.
All in the name
Thank you.
of our community.
And science.
And science, sorry.
So you've now poured it out, 30 to 60 seconds of frothing.
So what this is doing is, in a hyper excessive over the top way, is what an aerator would do if you were pouring it out and it basically gurgles through. This is getting to the point of a foam. It goes beyond the Lambrusco kind of like sparkling red appearance. Oh, this is too much. Enough. Right, we get the hint. Oh.
Evers, it's science.
Now the bubbles have subsided and we're not drinking milkshake, I think this will be interesting.
What's that reaction?
Just smell it.
Wow.
Wow.
It smells, I don't know anything about wine. It smells expensive.
Not expensive, but what does it? It smells like, to me, now Haribo. It smells confected. It smells like cherry lips in Haribo, or it's not cherry, but that kind of confected, almost artificial sweet jamminess.
Okay, let's see if we could taste the difference.
Not a huge difference on taste to this, but so much on the nose.
But what about compared to the first one? So this was just poured out of the bottle. So really,
Oh, huge difference on that.
Massively different. It tastes like 2 different wines.
So the wines that you've got, you've just gone from a £20 bottle of wine to a £100 bottle of wine.
So for me, and this is new information, I didn't realise that was a £20 bottle of wine, but it explains why that first process is so important, because straight out of the bottle, it's quite a lot. It's harsh, it's abrasive. But then if you're opening a £20 bottle of wine, you're going to let it breathe. You're going to know to do that, use an aerator or let it breathe. And then it became delicious. Hyper became odd.
I liked Hyper because you could taste the difference each step.
More complex even on the nose. Because it is older and it is an older vintage, you get a lot more of the tertiary, the aging, and of the oaking actually. So I get a lot more, less fruit, more cedar and baking spice.
It's got more going on than the other wine.
Yeah.
But it's still lovely and fresh fruit, and it doesn't feel like jammy fruit, which that was. This feels like vibrant fruit, even though it's older.
Should we move on to the one that's been left out for an hour? It's been breathing.
Yes, it's got rounder, really smooth, isn't it?
That needs a lovely fireplace. What you get there, I think, is even more of the barrel aged. It's still got the fruit, but now even more of that, wood, cedar, leather notes coming through.
It's really smooth and even better than the first glass.
Lovely. And do you prefer it to the first wine, Mike?
Yeah, massively.
So shall we do the thing that no one's probably ever done before, which is whisk up a £100 bottle of wine?
This feels so wrong. And it feels wrong, but the science, on paper, I don't see why it should be wrong. That's the kind of wine you don't even need to drink to know how good it is.
Oh my goodness. Wait till you taste it, mate.
That's remarkable. Still high acid, still really fruity. Does it taste much better?
I don't know, but I think going to the whole aroma, 80% of taste being aroma, I think as you drink it, you're taking in all of that information through your nose, and it makes it feel bigger.
Yeah. When you move into more premium wines, and I would say even that first bottle at £20 a bottle in the UK is a fairly premium. This is a very much a premium wine. You hear the phrase long finish. It has a really long finish, which means the flavour lingers with you for ages. And I haven't tasted that wine for almost a minute, and I can still taste everything on it, which means you savour it more. But I would say once you've hyper aerated that, you don't even need to drink it to understand everything that's in the glass. If you're ever buying a quality red wine, always decant it and swill it and savour it, never straight from the bottle. And if you like fruit forward, the primary flavours of the fruit,
that's me,
then that's not doing a bad job at it. I didn't think I'd say that.
Hyper decanting. Is it a trend that we should all follow fast, or should we just scroll past?
Everyone should try it, and then you decide whether you want that fruit forward or whether you prefer the less hyper
subtleties,
aeration. But yeah, it's good.
Follow fast.
Let's move on to the next. Ebbers, you should have a text.
I got a text.
You always let your emotions get in the way. That's the
Cookie dough croissants.
Cookie dough croissants.
So boys, we've had the cronut, we've had the cruffin.
What's this being called?
Now it's time for the crookie.
Lovely.
I am excited to try this. I'll explain why in a minute. Here's why I'm not angry at this TikTok viral video either.
This is not on brand. This is supposed to infuriate you.
Old man yells at clouds.
Quite literally. You literally do these videos to wind me up. However, day-old croissants that aren't at their best are regularly brought back to life by filling them with frangipane, covering them in almonds and calling them an almond croissant.
Selling them for more
They are
than they
not
would have sold.
necessarily baked originally as an almond croissant. They are better using day-old croissants by adding more stuff in. So why not add cookie dough in? I'm kind of here for it.
So the idea originated in Paris at a place called Maison Louvard in 2022, where the creator, Stéphane Louvard, thought he'd have some fun and blend the two classics, and they became a hit.
So we noticed the video has the option of putting them on top as well, but we're just going inside,
We're
so we
just
can
making a
still see
sandwich.
that it's definitely croissant, but with cookie inside. 2 of each.
They are stale. Wow!
I mean, no surprises in what came out of the oven versus what went in, but hopefully it's put a fresh lease of life into what might have been a stale pastry.
And what's nice is you still get the characteristic of the croissant coming through. It's not caned by the cookie dough.
Oh, Ebbers, you were on such a positive streak.
I was. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. And the irony is, a croissant is not sweet, and yet often, when you crack into one, you might add a little bit of confiture or something like jam, you're adding additional condiments, or they're just lovely and buttery and delicious to eat as they are. You add a cookie into this, honestly, it tastes to me more American than French. It tastes to me like something we would have when we're traveling the US, because it is sickly sweet with cookie dough, even though I love cookies, because you've also got that extra butteriness of croissant, and it's a little bit overkill. What I love with a croissant is the sickly sweet jam, but that has a huge acidity and fruit punch rather than just sugar.
I really like it. I only had half. That's definitely enough. I feel like it still tastes like a croissant, so you get that butteriness, but it is a baked croissant with the cookie inside. That's exactly what it tastes like.
Some things are perfect and shouldn't be messed with, in my opinion, and this may well have started in a boulangerie in France, but I think it is appealing to a TikTok, Instagram generation, rather than people who want balance on their palate.
Right, the crookie trend, so that's croissant and cookie put together.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Are you gonna follow fast or scroll past?
I'm scrolling past on this one, but maybe it's just where my palate is, given we've just been enjoying a £100 bottle of wine.
For me, it doesn't really do anything hugely creative. It's putting cookie dough in a croissant. So actually, I'm going to swipe past.
Lovely. Well, have you got room for one more?
Definitely.
Ebbers, your phone has never been so hot. You have another message.
So on trend with this device right now.
Is the biggest breakfast game changer. If you're not grating your egg on top of toast every morning, you're missing out. Let's go. I'm slicing my favorite bread and I'm adding a little bit of mayo. Trust me on this. Mayo side down in a hot pan until it's nice and sizzly. Take some avocado, mash it with a little bit of salt and lemon juice. Spread it on top of your toast. You could even add a little bit of hot honey. Take your hard-boiled egg, which is fully cooled down, and gently grate it on top.
I'm not going to enjoy this as a texture guy.
Follow for more.
Lots of people have been doing it. It's said to add a different texture. It provides a different eating experience. So what we've given you is 3 different ways to test the grated egg trend. 1 onto toast, 1 into a mayonnaise. Is that a great way to get an egg mayo? And thirdly, over a salad.
Lovely.
A few thoughts before we even start. Whenever you grate cheese, a small piece goes a long way. So I can see how this is a valuable trend to cafes, brunch spots, because I imagine an egg, you add volume by grating it, it looks more impressive.
You're aerating your egg.
You're aerating your egg, and you basically will get a lovely fluffy texture, I imagine, but you can get away with serving less.
Yeah.
Secondly, part of the best bit of egg on toast is a runny yolk, and you've ruined that.
For some people. For a lot of people.
For the internet, the yolk pop is literally, it broke the internet. Should we try some?
Yeah.
I'm presuming these are hard-boiled. Oh, they're not. That was just silly.
Just straight on toast. Here we go. Got it. It's so weird. As it crumbles and falls away, it gets a little bit more fiddly, but hey, we're pretty much there.
So people are saying that it vastly improves the texture of the egg with a finer, fluffier result.
It's definitely finer and fluffier. Whether you think that's improved is a subjective thing. What I would say, and we've spoken about this a lot in this episode, it has aerated the egg. It is more sulphurous. It is more eggy.
Okay.
When you smell that now, that is more eggy, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
No. Firstly, it's not a game changer, but it's definitely different, and it's definitely something that could be played with.
And I think, if we're talking egg mayo, in terms of making egg mayo, I imagine it is a quicker, more efficient way of getting a very fine egg mayo that you might want to put into a smaller thing. It is a finer example. It's a bit fiddly because you still end up with smushy bits at the end, like you do with anything that goes through a grater. Egg mayo.
Nice. Again, it's different. It's not game changers. It's just different. It tastes nice.
It's playing with texture. I hadn't thought about it previously. I quite like that it's playing with texture. Would you use it as a garnish over a salad? Whilst it's kind of covered up the deliciousness underneath, I think that has probably added something more to a salad than maybe a breakfast dish or an egg mayo. Still nothing to write home about. It's just a different presentation of the same thing.
If someone had just said, hey, here's something quite cool you could do with a hard-boiled egg, you'd go, that is something quite cool you could do with a hard-boiled egg. And that is it. It's something quite cool you can do with a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more to say
Do you know
about
what?
it.
You've wrapped that up in a easy shell, and I'm happy to accept that.
Will you be following fast, or will you scroll past?
Until we have our own sorted cafe that's doing breakfast, brunch, and we need to make raw ingredients stretch further and charge more for it, I'm going to scroll past.
Follow fast, because I think it's something that could add a lovely little 5% to some of the cooking and dishes that I might do in the future.
Well, over to you in the comments. Will you be giving any of these TikTok food trends a go yourself? Let us know. Plus, what else should we be testing next?
Hooray, the Ebbers man comes with his band of brothers and a splintered bum. Food trials and barrels of fun in a live streamed weekend show.